It comes in pre-grown sheets, fresh from the turf farm, ready to transplant. First produced in the middle of the last century, commercially grown grass continues to change the landscape and make the neighbors green with envy. Don't feel like sitting around watching the grass grow? With commercially cultivated turf, there's no need. Upon delivery, workers simply unroll it and trim it. It's like installing carpeting. And this is, in fact, a living carpet. With regular watering, it'll start to put down roots. It should take about 3 weeks to become established, and then it's time to rev up the lawnmower. It starts with a seed variety appropriate to the climate. This farm is in the American Midwest, and that calls for a cool season species, Kentucky bluegrass. They compost grass clippings and leftover turf in a big pile and use it to enrich the farm's soil. Next, using an aerator, they punch holes in the soil. This loosens it, allowing nutrients and oxygen to infiltrate. Aerating also breaks up the rootstock left from the previous crop. Since grass is a perennial, a new crop will grow from these leftovers, and they'll only need to plant seed every 3 or 4 crops. After about 5 weeks, the grass has begun to sprout. A sprinkler system helps spur the growth. It's a central pivot irrigation system, a wheeled tower that is 366 meters long with numerous sprayers. It slowly circles the turf grass field to give it a thorough soaking. Next up is the fertilizer. It'll give the grass the energy it needs to flourish. The big 3 ingredients are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But the mix also contains micronutrients like iron, zinc, and magnesium for an extra boost. They fertilize the field 4 to 5 times a year, using a supersized version of a home rotary spreader. Pulled by a tractor, it flings fertilizer out the back to cover a lot of terrain very fast. An application of herbicide keeps the weeds at bay as the grass grows and the blades become denser. Once it's thick enough, it should resist weed invasion. They mow it 3 to 4 times a week, never cutting more than 1/3 of the total leaf. Anything more would cause the grass to focus on repairing top growth at the expense of establishing a substantial root system. When an ordinary lawn tractor can't keep up, they bring out a mega version. It has 3 mower decks, each with 3 blades. It can mow an area the size of 10 American football fields in 1 hour. They leave the clippings behind for added fertilizer. It takes about 18 months for the roots to fully develop and form a thick mass. That means the turf grass can now be harvested without falling apart. As the harvester moves forward, rollers at the front compress the grass. Behind the rollers, a wide blade cuts the turf at the roots, removing just ½ a centimeter of topsoil. At the sides, spatula-like mechanisms lift the turf onto a conveyor. Once there, another blade cuts it into strips. The strips head up to a device that rolls them up, like one would roll a sleeping bag. The conveyor transfers the rolls to a platform, where a robotic arm with spears retrieves them and stacks them on a pallet 5 at a time. When the stack is big enough, the harvester lowers the pallet of grass rolls onto the field. It moves on to continue harvesting. A forklift collects the rolled turf for shipment. This turf has been cut to order for same-day delivery. They'll install it fresh from the farm, so it doesn't have time to dry out and turn yellow. This grass has been a 1.5 years in the making. It's now ready to transform a dusty yard into a lush green one for instant curb appeal.